Right across the country, house sales for July slumped 13% compared to last year's figures. The national median price rose more than 8%, and that trend was seen here in Otago. But Real Estate Institute of New Zealand data out this week showed Dunedin sales were down almost 20%. Here to give us an update on sales locally is Liz Nidd, REINZ Regional Director. Good evening, Liz.
Good evening.
What can you tell us about the median price for house sales in Otago over the last month?
Well, the median price was $269,500, but interestingly, that was pretty much the same as May. In between, we went down to $249 and then came back to $269.5. So, you know, it quite honestly doesn't have a huge amount of relevance in what we're seeing on a daily basis.
What are sales volumes like at this time of year?
Down about 20% on the same month last year.
Why is that, do you think?
A combination of the loan-to-value ratio and also, of course, we've had several little interest rate bumps.
What sort of properties are selling?
Well, that was really interesting when I looked at the statistics today. 52% of the sales last month were between $200,000 and $300,000. But it's even more interesting to look at up to $300,000, and that was 73% of the sales.
Is that not typical for this time of year?
Look, it's been pretty typical of the market for the last more than a little while. The top end of the market has been somewhat slow. I guess a lot of people further up the market have a choice. Do we sell? Do we buy up? Do we stay put? And a lot of those people are just deciding to stay where they are. So there is the loss of volume is very largely driven by the fact that we're short of listing stock.
Now, interest rates aren't expected to be increasing again before the end of the year.
Thank goodness.
Do you think that's going to have an impact?
We would hope so. We would hope so.
Does the upcoming election have any bearing on what sellers might be wanting to do with their properties?
It may do, but it's crystal ball gazing, really. You know, we would hope, having had such an extended period of a depressed market in terms of volume, that at some point people are going to have to start changing houses again. And so we just hope that they will see the period of stability in interest rates, and also that the loan-to-value ratio is being loosened quite considerably by the banks, and that they'll feel a bit more positive about moving on, because we do have lots of buyers.
Overall, how are real estate firms doing locally?
I think there's probably some who are struggling, particularly if they don't have a war chest. I've always thought it a very good policy to keep some money in the bank, because it's an industry where you go through highs and lows. And so I don't panic, but if that war chest wasn't there, you know, I would be having to go to the bank right now and say help, because covering of overheads is not necessarily happening.
Do you expect things to pick up in summer this year, or perhaps we'll be seeing a bigger pickup next year?
I would hope. You can't live in this industry for 25 years like I have and not still be an optimist, or you just wouldn't survive. And I'm always optimistic that we're going to see it improve.
REINZ Regional Director Liz Nidd, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.